Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn, supportive oracle cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's Gretchen's last name. That way, if you want to look up any of these creators, you can easily do that. I do know Tori has other things, but I don't know about the other two. So, if you want to see other things they do, go ahead, look them up on the Google or the Bing. Or Ecosia. Ecosia is a good one too, from what I understand. This is Virgo. Okay. Let's see how this is going. 1, 2, 3. You have something to say. I'm getting that right off the bat. That's it. Stop. Okay, you have something to say. You definitely have something to say. Now, when I'm coming into this situation, the energy I'm feeling for you is isolation with creation, which rhymes, obviously. Well, even though it rhymes, I feel like that's a point. Like they're saying, yeah, you pulled yourself away for a while, and you figured out what you wanted to do, and you now just got to create what you now realize you need to do. So that's good. I feel like the isolation is kind of like you pulled yourself back from something. I know some of you may have it out there, well, you're kind of like, well, I kind of was pushed out of the situation for a little while. Either way, whether you chose to or you kind of were pushed out for a little while, it does seem temporary, but it also gives you time to like really think things over. And where do you want to go with this? What do you really need to happen? And then when you add yourself back in, or when you go back into the situation, then it's time to create what you want from it. Because when you're coming into it, I'm getting a lot of energy on your side where you're ready to talk. You're ready to talk, you're ready to do something, you're ready to make things go differently. You've got the Queen of Swords. I'm ready to say what I'm seeing. Now, I feel like I'm always talking to this card because I feel like people give it a negative flavor, and I don't think that's right. The Queen of Swords is somebody who has a lot of passion, but they also have a lot to say, and they know how to say it. They know what they need to do. They say what they need to say. They hold back what they need to hold back. I don't think of it as a bitter card. I think of it as a very positive card. Somebody who's in control and moves forward as they need to, and communicates based on what's going to work, not based on what need. They don't just communicate something just because it's the truth. They don't just communicate because it's the truth. They communicate because it's what's necessary to move things forward to a better place. And you're coming in with that energy, and you are starting right off with good communication, positive communication that's right side up. I'm feeling very good about how you're coming forward. The other side understands what you're talking about. Actually, whether they want to hear it or not, they do understand what you're saying needs to be said and is valid, very valid, needs to be said and is valid. Expansion is actually coming out of this. You've come back into the situation, you know what you need to do, you know what you want to do. It starts off with communication, putting the information out there. This is what needs to happen now. Expansion is coming. You're making a very good case. You have a very solid foundation. This is what I need. This is what needs to happen. This is why it needs to happen. This is where it's gone off before. This is how that would make that different. You got a lot backing you on this. Like in your own thoughts, you've thought this through. You know what you need to do. You start moving forward based on that communication. You've given enough information out there saying where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and you're doing that. You said you were going to do it, and now you're doing it. That's the whole point. That was the first step for you to communicate what's happening next. Now you're moving forward on that. There might have been a little negotiation, but you're still moving forward if that was the case, even if that was the case. Queen of Wands backed up with the King of Swords. Now the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords you got going on here, it's the same type of energy. You're still talking, communicating, saying what needs to be done. You're holding true to your vision. You're holding true to your truth. You're actively moving forward. Some other people don't like this. Some other people do not like this and are having a problem with it. With the Five of Cups, things are actually going better. I almost feel like when I'm looking at the Five of Cups, like they were all knocked over. I feel like they were all knocked over and you flipped up 2 so that now 2 can hold liquid. You have corrected 2 so far. I feel like that's how far you get before somebody gives you a hard time. But they don't like this. They don't like the way you're doing things. They don't like the way it's done. They don't want to do it that way. They might have a million and two reasons why they don't like it, but the flat out bottom line is they don't like it. So now there's a problem here. There's a problem. People don't really like this. People are pushing back. But then what you have going on your side is, yeah, but things are going better. Yeah, but things are improving. Yeah, but this is better than it was in the past. People are having a hard time coming up against you because you have flat out proof in front of you showing this is better. All right, so we get into this stage and you have to kind of hold your own on this. It's not the most fun, but it's not the worst. If you need to hold your own, you're going to hold your own. You got instinct on your side, kind of like paying attention not only to what is coming towards you, but more off what the person is that's coming towards you. How do they carry themselves? How do they handle situations? Are they honest? Are they unscrupulous? Are they dramatic? Do they play things down? You have to pay attention instinctually. What is the person? It's not just the information, but it's the person presenting it. What are you dealing with in that respect? And you're rolling with it. You're seeing it. Are they over dramatic? Are they not? Are they giving you the truth? Are they kind of embellishing? What are they doing? That's your instinct telling you, like, what am I really dealing with when it comes to the person? Not just the information, but the person pushing it forward. How are they doing this? Now, you seem to nip that in the bud. If they're over embellishing, you cut it right down to like, no more, nope, we're not doing the fat. Get rid of the fat, just the lean. That's all we're doing with this. I'm not doing that. If they're downplaying something to get what they want, you're like, oh no, that's not that like that. We got to add in a little bit more here. You got to add some more. You're cutting it too lean. Now you're cutting it too lean. There's no flavor in this. You're cutting it too lean. Let's get the truth in there. Let's put you're cutting it down too much. And if they're a liar, you're doing what you have to do with that to prove that they're a liar is what I'm getting. Some of you are definitely going to come across that. I don't know how many of you, I have no idea, but some of you coming across this video are going to come across that. You're cutting somebody to the quick. They got bittersweet here. So whatever it is that they're trying to pull, you're putting it right in perspective. You're focusing that camera. You're like, this is out of focus. There's too much. It's too fuzzy. It's too fuzzy. Let's focus this. You're focusing that camera. We're going to focus. And you're seeing the sharp edges of what's really in front of you, and so aren't they, and whoever else has to be involved here. The bittersweet is like you're taking that away from them. Whatever tactic they're using, this is in the environment. You're doing good. You're making things better. They just don't like that you're taking away their game plan. Bittersweet means it's, hey, it's really not bad. They just might not like how you're doing it. Well, that happens sometimes. The situation then recovers and things start to go back on the improving line again. Things are going better again. Things are improving again. Things are going back to where you said you were going to do them. You're doing the work at this point, but I feel like other people are more in line with you. It seems like there's more of a collective effort with the Eight of Pentacles coming forward. It seems like it was not as congealed before, or not such a unified effort. And I'm not saying it's a totally unified effort at this point even, but it's more than it was prior to this moment. Recovery, good. When you say you're going to do something, for the people this is hitting for, when you say you're going to do something, you totally are committed to that. Ten of Pentacles is, you were committed to it anyway, but you're seeing the benefit, and you're seeing how more people are getting on board with you. This is more going your way. This is getting better. This is improving over time. This is getting better, 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 better. Even if it's little increments, still, keep adding little increments. That's still something, and after a time, that's really got a lot of value. You've got the Ten of Pentacles, like you're feeling very validated. You're realizing this is the right way to do it. This is working for you. When this is happening, it keeps going better, and then these possibilities are coming forward towards you. I'm getting. Okay, so this is like the first round of somebody trying to change things. They don't like how it's going. The first round of how they approached the situation did not work. You were able to shut it down and keep it on path, keep it on course, okay? Cool. This is the second round. The Magician is coming through, and the Seven of Cups is coming through in the environment. This is what you're being faced with. Somebody else is coming forward. They've regrouped. They want things to go differently, and they're giving a few different possibilities and doing things differently. The second round is not going to go as easy as the first round. At this point, I feel like you got to find a way to readjust. You're not going to want to. But they're saying, first off, they're saying you need to keep this improving. You still need this to keep this improving. Keep that in the back of your head. What do I need to do to keep this improving? Because you might have to change course to keep that going. Because I'm getting you holding it to the way you want it to go may lead to stagnation. The Hanged Man is coming in the sense of like the way you've been doing it up to this point, it's not gonna continue that way. Even if continuing that way, if everybody was on board, would work, there's too much opposition at this point. The second time around, there's too much opposition, and it's obvious that this energy is not going to relent. So they're saying, keep in mind there's going to have to be changes, or you're going to stagnate, and then the progress will not continue because of the opposition. If you come at this correctly, which I find that hard, okay, if you come at this correctly, and you see it coming, you're going to have more than enough time to plan for this. When the first time comes around, pay attention to what's coming towards you, because I don't see you changing this first time around. But absorb enough of that so that you can find angles that you're willing to adjust. Again, you're not going to want to, but something like what is more palatable to you that you would still get benefit, maybe not as much benefit as you originally got, maybe not as much improvement as you originally are getting currently. But this way, when it comes around the second time, you've already kind of got in your head what you're willing to do and where you're willing to go. So that way it doesn't hold you up or hold the situation up more than it has to. And that way, even though you don't really want to change, if it has to change, at least you have some control, and it can go at least in still a progressive way. I don't think it's going to be as good, but it's better than stagnating or possibly dropping down due to the opposition. Because I feel like you can really make out on this if you see it correctly. You know, sometimes the adversity is just so strong, it just becomes a problem. And instead of having to sit there and, hold strong as long as possible, still progressing, instead of wasting like 3 months just holding ground, still progressing over those 3 months, even if it's not as much, is worth more. You know what I mean? Hopefully that helps. Because I'm getting like there's a lot going on in the environment, and people not liking how things are going. They just won't relent. I feel like even if for some odd reason, maybe the second time around it still goes your way, it will come back again. And it just keeps diminishing. This seems like it just keeps diminishing. And this situation needs to improve. That's the bottom line. So realizing that this keeps coming forward, people aren't liking it. The self-worth and the impartiality is like there's something about this they really just don't enjoy. And I can understand maybe the other side you may be coming from is like, listen, we can't enjoy things all the time. Sometimes you just got to do what's right. But they're just not on board with that. They keep coming back and keep causing problems with it, is what I'm getting. And to them, it's not causing problems. It's just like they need it to go differently so that they can live with it. It's just not working for them. They keep coming back. Other people keep adding into the situation. The impartiality is kind of like, it's almost like they'll keep coming at it until they get what they want. The fact that it keeps disrupting things, they're kind of like, well, that's what has to happen. That's just kind of where I'm feeling with the impartiality. Like, if things have to suffer a little bit to make them better, that's their balance. They're like, the fact that it's kind of damaging the situation a little bit, to them, that's the impartiality. Like, well, then I guess it has to. That's a weird card with this. Because I feel like when I'm really feeling this card, I'm more caught up in the picture than the word. And the picture is like somebody holding something and bringing it forward and not letting go of what they're feeling. That's what I'm really getting with this card. And the self-worth is like there's a different place they want this to go. And for them to be comfortable and ready to continue on, it has to change. They have to get into that seat. And some people might actually want that control. So if you're willing to adjust as you keep going forward, you're not going to want to. I understand that. At least that's how I'm feeling about it. But at least if you have some control over it, I just feel like you can at least keep the situation improving. And I feel like it's going to probably be a couple times where it has to keep being readjusted. As long as it keeps improving at different rates, but improving, I think nonetheless, I think you'll be okay. Are we good? All right, I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.